You are sitting in a meeting. You propose a carefully researched idea. Your manager immediately talks over you, dismisses your data, and mandates a flawed alternative without a second thought. Your chest tightens. You spend the rest of the day feeling frustrated, anxious, and completely stuck in your role, wondering if your work even matters. We are going to fix that. By the end of this video, you will have a personalized playbook to neutralize an arrogant manager, establish firm boundaries, and resolve workplace disagreements clinically. Step 1 is to get ready to write. Grab a physical pen and notebook, or open a blank document on your screen right now. We are going to build this playbook together, step by step. Reacting emotionally to a difficult boss leaves you playing defense. Replacing those emotional reactions with a proactive, scripted strategy puts you back in control of the power dynamic. Let's start with the know-it-all manager. This is the boss who drops by your desk to deliver unsolicited, unhelpful advice on a project you already have under control. Your first instinct might be to argue your case on principle. Do not do this. Arguing with someone who assumes they have all the answers drains your mental energy and wastes valuable time. You have to choose your battles. Instead, you need a neutral deflection script to disarm them. Your response is, "Thanks for the suggestion. I'll consider that for next time." It acknowledges their input without committing to it, avoiding a confrontation. Next, practice what you preach. I know it all rarely asks for input. You can counter this culture by publicly asking your colleagues for help and admitting when you are stuck. Modeling collaborative vulnerability builds trust with your team, where your boss fails to do so. Look closer at your manager's behavior. Extreme arrogance is rarely about actual confidence. Often, it masks severe performance anxiety or immense pressure from upper management. Take a moment to look at your document. Write down your own version of the deflection script we just covered, so it is ready the next time they approach your desk. Managing a know-it-all is not an exercise in winning debates. It is a method for protecting your own time and mental energy so you can actually do your job. That brings us to our next major friction point: workload and communication limits. It is 8 p.m. on a Friday, and your manager sends an email asking for a status update that could easily wait until Monday. Setting boundaries does not require an emotional confrontation or an aggressive declaration of your rights. You train your manager on how to treat you through your quiet, consistent actions over time. Your first boundary tonight is stopping all replies to non-emergency communications after 7 p.m. You do not announce this policy. You simply start doing it. During the workday, you will face unreasonable project requests. When your manager assigns a massive new task on top of a full schedule, then use the yes and prioritization strategy. Here is the exact email script. I have X and Y on my plate right now. If I take on Z, which should I push back? This forces the manager to do their actual job, managing priorities. Go back to your notebook. Look at your current workload and write down one specific boundary you will start enforcing today, whether it is logging off at a set time or pushing back on an impossible deadline. Polite, firm action creates a clear boundary. It earns professional respect and leaves zero room for anyone to accuse you of insubordination. Let's move to those tense meetings where your manager arrives in a bad mood, visibly stressed, and starts projecting that pressure onto you and the rest of the team. It is natural to cross your arms and get defensive. Instead, practice the empathy pivot. Shift out of defense and get curious. Treat the situation as an investigation into what hidden pressures are acting on your boss. Look at this visual comparison. On the left, we see a standard defensive posture, but on the right, we see the empathetic pivot in action, leaning in and actively listening. Practice this by playing back their assumptions. Say something like, "It sounds like you are under a lot of pressure to hit this quarter's quota." Validating their stress forces them to pause and process their own anxiety. More importantly, it successfully decouples your personal self-worth from their erratic behavior. When a deep disagreement arises, you need a clinical communication framework. This 4-quadrant diagram shows the Advocacy-Inquiry method. Quadrant 1 is advocacy. You start by saying, "I noticed we're taking path A." Notice the phrasing. Advocacy relies exclusively on factual observations. There are no accusatory judgments or emotional reactions. Now we move to Quadrant 2, Inquiry. Here, you ask an open-ended question designed to uncover your manager's hidden assumptions. Your script is, "Can you help me understand why we chose this over path B?" As the diagram shifts to quadrant 3, we enter the identify phase. You stay quiet and actively listen. Your goal is to pinpoint the exact flaw in logic or the specific gap in their knowledge that led to their decision. Finally, we reach quadrant 4, teach. You do not bluntly correct them. Instead, you offer a targeted, collaborative alternative. You say, "What if we tried," and present the solution that bridges their knowledge gap. There is a critical warning here. Do not skip the inquiry phase. If you jump straight from stating a fact to teaching the solution, you instantly mirror your boss's behavior and look like an arrogant know-it-all yourself. Executing these 4 steps in exact order removes the personal conflict and turns a heated argument into an objective, shared problem-solving session. Look down at your notes. You have just constructed a physical playbook for handling one of the most stressful challenges in the workplace. You now have a neutral deflection script for unsolicited advice, a quiet action plan for setting workload boundaries, and a 4-step framework for managing complex disagreements. You cannot control a difficult manager's personality, their stress levels, or their arrogance. You have complete control over how you react to them. Here is your final homework assignment. Open your calendar, find your next scheduled one-on-one meeting with your boss, and identify one specific topic that usually causes friction. Before that meeting happens, write down your exact advocacy and inquiry statements. Have those scripts armed and ready to deploy the moment the conversation gets tense. Approaching your manager with a clinical, structured strategy neutralizes their negative impact. Instead of dreading the next interaction, you are entering the room with a tactical map to navigate it.